Welcome back to DIY Willie. Today we're getting back on the 2008 Nissan Frontier, and if you remember in the last video, I'll put something here. We had a trouble code, a check engine light, or a service engine soon light come on. That gave us a P0305 code. It turned out that that was for a bad coil on number 5 cylinder. When I moved the coil from number 5 to number 2, the code changed to 302, which designating that it's number 2 cylinder now, so we know it's the coil. So a package has arrived with new coils. Let's check it out. Here we go. Check out that box. That's a nice looking box. So this came from z1offroad.com. Also, I guess they're known as z1motorsports.com. And we purchased 6 new coil packs from them. These are the high-energy coil packs. They claim quite a bit of improved performance with these coil packs. We'll get into details more on them later. And let's check out what we got. So their parts do not come with instructions, but they provide on their website PDFs on the installation process. So we have the PDF for the coils and for removing the plenum. Now I'm going to remove the plenum because 2 of the coil packs are underneath the plenum on the passenger side. It just makes it much easier to remove the plenum. I know some people say you can do it without removing the plenum. No. I don't like to do that. The chance for damaging the coils is too great. So let's get in here and check these things out. So there we go. We got 6 coils. Got a whole mess of decals and stickers. Look at that. Man, they hooked us up. I'll definitely put one of those on the vehicle. And we got the coils. Oh, here we go. Here's a thank you for your purchase and being a loyal customer. Follow us on social media and tag us in your unboxing and install pictures. Absolutely. There's a QR code for the install and a few other things on there. That's nice. I'll definitely be using that. Here's a coil. See if I can get it open with one hand. Get it out of there. Alright, here's the coil. Really nice product. Looks good. Look at that. It looks like it's got some lubrication, some sealant or something in there, the green. But look at the way they brand it, Z1 Off-Road. Look at that. It was really nice. Really happy with that product and the quality of it. Now they claim that this coil has 20% more turns in the secondary winding and an improved turn ratio to the primary winding. This results in a yield of a stronger, longer spark, providing better ignition and improved flame propagation in the cylinder with a reduction in the chance of of spark blowout. So this will improve combustion. It's a high energy, high output coil. It's I believe it's 60% more energy. It will provide a quicker coil charge response, discrete black color. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like the labeling on it. And increased reliability, improved response, smoother power output, up to 60% higher spark energy. Pretty incredible. That comes due to their winding inside. All right. Let's get them all unpacked and take a look at the truck. So, looking at the engine, we're going to take all this off. This is the intake plenum. 2 coil packs are located right below right here. It just makes it a lot easier to get the plenum off. We take the cover off. There's a lot of miscellaneous hoses that are going to get disconnected. There's the coolant lines for the heater lines for the throttle body. Actual warm water runs through that to preheat the throttle body, and there is a bypass for that line, and we can talk more about that later. But we're going to take the intake tube off, and first off we're going to take the negative side of the battery off. It's always a good idea anytime we're messing with the throttle body or any of the other components to make sure that they're not charged. The key is off. And yeah, I say it's time to get busy. Time to get in there and get to work. A lot of work to do. Short time. All right. First things first, let's get this battery off of here. Now my cables and everything are 10 millimeter. Loosen up the negative terminal. It gives this off. I'm just gonna kind of set it up out of the way. Like that. Now the truck has no more power. Now to get this top cover off, there's 2 bolts up here. They're 10 millimeter. Just like that, we'll be able to pull this off. Come on. Just like that. Been on there for a while. And everything's running. There we go. Set the parts out of the way. Now I also have a bracket supporting the cold air intake. So we'll take that off right now. That's another 10 millimeter. And the reason I have this bracket is with the engine vibrations, it would eventually work its way out of the throttle body here and we would come up with a leak on the intake. So by installing this little bracket right here that I made with the hose clamp on the tube, it stopped that from happening. But it's a long-winded screw. Look at that bolt. Woo. There we go. I'm just gonna put that back in right there. There we go. Now, would you believe I didn't bring a screwdriver to get this tube off? Let me get that screwdriver. Okay, so I've loosened up the clamps for the intake. It's just a flat screwdriver. And we'll be able to pull them off. We got this hose here. Oh, I should take that one off too. I just recently put this clamp on. This one didn't used to have a clamp. There, pull that hose off. That's just a breather hose. And we'll pull the tube out once we unplug the map sensor. There we go. Now we got it. Set it aside. Now these bolts here, because I have a throttle body spacer, normally I think these are an Allen wrench type, but because I have a throttle body spacer, there's longer bolts and they're 10 millimeter heads on them. So I'm going to take the throttle body off and just set it aside. I'm just going to let the throttle body hang out of the way right there. Take the spacer and we'll set it aside. So following the instructions, we've now got to remove the VAS control solenoid and the vacuum tank, which are these pieces right on top, right here. It's a 10 millimeter on the VAS solenoid, and for the vacuum tank, it's a 12 millimeter. Also, these lines right here, these hoses, there's 2 of them. One on top right here, and then one over here on the bottom of this one. You need to remember where they go, and we also going to disconnect those. So we can take that whole set and just pull it out of the way. I'll probably set it over here without disconnecting it. I don't know. We'll check it out. But we're trying to follow the instructions. I've had this plenum off before, but it's better to be more descriptive in it. I've already removed this line right here. Throttle body's off. So we're on our way here. We're getting there. We just got these couple other things to do right here, and then we'll get to the back there where there's some more bolts. Also, we got some bolts down here on the side that we're gonna get to, but yeah, moving on. There's the 10 millimeter, and we'll get the 12 millimeter right now. Now that was interesting. That line just came right off of there. I wonder if that line needs to be replaced. Get the 12 millimeter. We'll unplug this line. That goes to the tank up here on top. This one goes to the vacuum tank. And this one went to the solenoid. So we'll put this stuff up out of the way. just like that. There, now we've got a clear view of everything we got inside here. It's time to get to the hardest part, and that's right there in the back. We got to take those clips off. Okay, so the back here, you've got the wire harness that runs along the top, and you've got these little clips that go into the holes. There's 2 of them. I'll try to zoom in here on them when I put the video together, but you just squeeze them, push them out like that. Squeeze them, push them out. That'll allow you to get in here where these bolts are, and go ahead and take that bracket off as well. You can unplug it. There's a vacuum line on here that runs over here, and electrical connection, but we'll leave that connected, and we'll just unbolt these and push them back out of the way. Now, some of this little hardware, I like to keep them around. I'll just put them back in the holes where they go. Just give them a couple turns in, keep you from losing them, and you remember which is which. There we go, just like that. Now, this thing back here is kind of hard to get to. I believe it's a 10mm, and I probably should get my swivel, or maybe just take it off. Let me see. A shorter extension would probably work. Now, the instructions really didn't say take that bracket off. They said release the clips on the wires, but I find it's a lot easier to get in there and get the hose that's on the bottom side off with that bracket loose. You can kind of push it out of the way, reach in, pinch the clamp on the hose and pull it off. It's just easier, I think. It's the way I do it, and it's worked for me in the past. I'll try to show you exactly what I'm talking about. There's this little, see that PVC hose right back there? It's kind of hard to point to. My finger's pointing at it. That hose we've got to disconnect. So, yeah, having all this where it moves easier, it just makes it that much simpler. We've also got to take this hose off the manifold. Then next we'll take these 12mm off. There's 2 of them, one here, one other side. It supports the plenum. And then we got the plenum main bolts right down the middle that we'll take off last. And then we'll be able to pull the plenum completely out of the way. Okay, so with all 7 of the bolts out for the plenum, the 2 bolts on the side, we're ready to lift it out. And the bolts, I just put up out of the way because they get reinstalled for the stock installation. All right, now we can just get in here and lift this thing out. You gotta lift it up and over the studs and just pull it straight back. Now be careful where you set it, because we do have the gaskets on the bottom, so we'll just set it off to the side. So you can clearly see the coils now that the plenum's gone. These are the 2 that are under the plenum, and they're really hard to get to, so best to take the plenum off, and it's really designed to come off. So we have 1, 3, and 5, and then over here we have 2, 4, and 6. So yeah, now we're there. Now we can do the job we intended to do from the beginning. Now I want to point out something. There's a lot of oil residue in the plenum, and I believe that comes from this hose right here. This is the PVC hose. Now I replaced that PCB valve when we did the timing chains, but there's still quite a bit of oil getting up in the intake, and there are catch cans designed for these engines that you can use, and I guess it would help eliminate that, but you have to empty the catch can. Some people say it's not needed, some people say it's a good idea, but I can see a lot of oil right here in the intake. So yeah, I don't think it would hurt at all to put a catch can on here, and I may look into that, putting a catch can in here and eliminating that oil going back into the engine. So yeah, I mean, it's fine, it runs great, but we'll check it out. We'll look into that a little bit later. So now it's time for these coils. We got a clear view of them right there, so let's get to work. Since I'm gonna have the plenum off for a while, I went ahead and put a towel over the intake side of it on the lower part of the intake manifold, just to cover the holes, make sure nothing falls inside. We don't really want any debris or tools or anything like that to get in the inside of the engine. So I went ahead and put a towel over there for now because I'm going to have it off for a little while. Now these coils, next up. Alright, I'm going to start with the back coil first. Number 5. We've had this coil off already. I'll just go ahead and get the bolt out. And get this job done. Come on, Willie. Hurry up there. Hurry up there, Willie. Now, it would be a smart idea to change the plugs if they needed to be at this point right now. But like I said in the previous video, these plugs aren't that old. And these are iridium tip plugs, so they're good for 100,000 miles or thereabouts. And they've only been in there a little over a year, maybe 2 years, and nowhere near 100,000 miles. So I'm going to leave them here. Last time I had this plug out, I checked the gap and it was fine. Same on number 4, I think it was. It was also fine on the gap. So I'm going to call it good. And we're just going to pull these coils out and unplug them. Come to Papa. There we go. There's the old coil. And here's the new coil. You know? Looks pretty good. I like that Z1 off-road on there. That's pretty nice. Really nice, guys. Thank you. Nice product. Well, let's get it done. Enough jibber jabber. Let's get them in there. Who do you think you are? We'll just tighten it up. Nope, wrong way, Willie. There we go. There, don't need a lot of torque on there. I'm sure there's a torque spec. You don't have to get them too tight. Just a good grunt. I'll plug the wires back in. Oh, helps if you have it going the right way. There we go. Number 1 coil. Or excuse me, I should say that's number 5 coil, but it's the first one we've got in. Now let's get to the next one. Now you don't have to change them one at a time, but as long as you don't get the wires too mixed up, which you really can't, they're kind of set in the right position. But it's a good idea just to do them one at a time, and then that way everything gets plugged back into the right order, and you know there's no chance of any timing issues or anything. There's number 3. Go. Helicopters making all kinds of noise. Now on the number 1 cylinder and the number 2 over there, there's this actuator here. I think it's a VVT actuator. It works with the exhaust cam, and or it's not on the intake cam. It might be on the intake cam. Anyway, it's with the variable valve timing, so it's really close. So we're going to go ahead and plug it in first, and then snake the coil pack in there, press it in real good, and tighten her down. Okay. All right, that looks good. There's the 3 coils, 1, 3, and 5. Man, they look really nice in there. Really nice. Nice setup. Very easy install once you get the plenum off. So now I got these 3 on the passenger side done. I'm gonna get the 3 on the driver's side done, and I'll spare you the details. I'm just gonna knock it out real fast right now. All right, I'll see you when I get those coils done. All right, there's the last 3 coils on the driver's side. That makes all 6 coils replaced. And man, they look good. Should perform better than the originals. I guess they're 60% more power. Now here's the last two of the good coils, and we got the one bad one. This one's going in the bin, scrap or trash, and these two we'll put back in the boxes and save them for a rainy day, just in case something goes wrong. We have new coils, or replaceable coils. Anyway, we'll keep the truck on the road. So I'm gonna put these away, gonna throw this one away, and then it's back to the plenum. Oh. All right, guys, here we go. It's like day number 2 of working on the Frontier. You know, if you see my videos in the past, you know I don't have a lot of time. I only have a few hours a day to work. Sometimes these projects take much more time, and well, I have to put them in a couple day parts. So anyway, the plenum is back on. Basically, you reinstall it in reverse order. Check it out. So the plenum's on. Like I said, basically you reinstall it in reverse order. There is a torque sequence for the intake manifold, and there it is right there. Kind of see it, and it gets torqued to 8 foot-pounds or 96 inch-pounds. I went with the 96 inch-pounds because I trust my smaller torque wrench a little more than I do my larger one. I've stripped threads out with my larger one. So I like to use the smaller inch-pound torque wrench on some finer things like this. So yeah, it's back in. We're that much closer to starting it up. So let's get going on what's left to do and get this engine started. We'll get the intake tube in and battery reconnected, and we'll be ready to start it up. Here we go. We're all back together. All the intakes in, the support brackets are in. Everything worked with the plenum being a little bit taller. I just made a couple adjustments here and there with the boots, really, and this I had to give it a little more. My little support bracket, give it a little more bend to put this where I want it. Everything looks really nice. Coils are in there good. Yeah, all the brackets worked. Plugged in. I say we start it up and see how it runs. Everything's good and tight now. So yeah, I'll set the camera up and let's turn the key. All right, so everything's together. This will be the first startup with the new coils. Looks good, running smooth. I'd say that was a success. All right, so just to recap a little bit, we know we had a damaged coil. It could have been more than one. There could have been a couple of them going out. The engine used to idle a lot rougher than it does now with all these new coils. Those were probably the original coils, I would assume. This is a 2008, so I would believe they would be the original coils. So it's probably time for them to be replaced. It's almost 160,000 miles on the truck, and it gets driven a lot. So yeah, I would say this was a successful DIY Willy project. Again, on our 2008 Nissan Frontier, 4x4 crew cab, automatic, Titan swapped, all this good stuff, yada yada. So I enjoy doing this stuff. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Not really a how-to video. I'm just showing you what I do to these things. I showed you what I did to put the parts in, and I kind of mixed up 2 videos in one. This is the coil install and the plenum install, but I'll try to separate them into 2 different videos. That way, you know, spend more time with one item. You know, we'll have a whole video for the coil and we'll have a whole video for the plenum. Hopefully it explains enough of it, but I'll make it you'll see a lot of similarities in it. You'll see some of this material in both videos. But anyway, that's going to be kind of challenging to edit, but it'll be fun. I like that kind of challenge. So, yeah, it's done. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below. Links in the description will be there for Z1 Off-Road and their products. And yeah, their shipping was great. The products fit perfectly. There's just a couple things, like I said, I wish they would have included, like these little spacers and this bracket extension. But other than that, everything was perfect. And it runs good. The only thing we need to do is plug in and make sure that the computer doesn't have any more trouble codes stored. Right now, there's no light on. There's no service engine light. I think that was due to the fact that the battery was disconnected for almost 3 days. But I'll still plug into it and make sure there's nothing stored. But there's one more thing else we need to do. And yeah, we need to put one of their stickers on the back window. Let's do that. Like I said, there's just one more thing we need to do, and that's get rid of this old sticker here. Now, you do stickers, it's always a good idea to put a little bit of window cleaner. Get your blade, helps lubricate the blade and remove any sticker residue. This is an old sticker from this company that has kind of let us down. Now we'll just kind of wipe the area. And we're ready for our new sticker. It's difficult to peel, but these decals, it sure looks nice when it's done. There we go. There we go. Now, put this in my pocket. It's windy out here again today. Now we'll just place the sticker. Make sure we're level. Send her home. Woo, it's gonna look good. All right, once we get it on there, make sure it's down really good. We can peel the backing off. Try to get it at an angle, and it peels right off. Look at that. Beautiful. Thank you, Z1 Off-Road. We'll be doing much more business with you. All right. So I'm going to end this video here. This was the last thing I needed to do. And I hope you guys liked it. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I'll leave links in the description for Z1 Off-Road. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.